Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Of Lichen and Moss Twitch channel and to our first ever session. Well, session 0 last week, but first session 1 of the Of Brass and Briar campaign. I am joined today by my lovely friends who I think should introduce themselves via a game of rollies. What do we think?
Absolutely.
Or in other words, roll initiative.
All right. Last die.
11.
11.
Yeah!
11
First
also.
roll of the game is a nat 20, guys.
Hey, good. Get them out
Well
of the way.
done. Do we get our initiative bonus?
Nope, it's just the dice.
Rollies.
All right. Well, I got an 18.
I don't know, Scree. What do you think your human initiative bonus is?
Oh, I was looking at the character sheet. My human initiative bonus like -5. I don't know how.
All right, so
Wait,
Ruby with a
wait.
natural 20.
Elle and I have to roll again because we both
Oh
got
yeah, because you tied.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
12.
13.
I go last.
You went 1 out above and I went 2 above. I love that.
Amazing. All right,
Alrighty,
so
alrighty. Hello, Twitch stream. I am Ruby Griffiths. Today I will be playing the part of Lavender Knittingham, a stylish raccoon trash panda who goes around with a little bit of a sleight of hand and sticky fingers.
Howdy. I am Scree, and I'll be playing Scree, the well-meaning kind of a dumbass paladin at your service.
Hey, y'all. My name is Elle. I will be playing Korean Mustel. Friends call me Kur. And I am just your average barbarian bard. Good luck with that.
Listen, they don't have to worry about you because I'm KJ and I am playing Duke Alabaster Moore, who is the monk, bard, acrobat, circus performer of the group, and I'm sure he won't remind you of that every second of the day.
Not at all.
Every group needs one.
You're a monk? No way.
And special co-star guest is Baby.
The baby.
Yeah, there will most likely be a lot of fluffs coming in and out of the stream.
Yeah, babies.
All right, and I do believe we have some announcements. Or one announcement. We have one announcement.
We do. We're actually planning a giveaway. I know, our first stream, and we're already planning giveaways. Look at me being too excited for this.
Never too excited.
Nah.
So, if you joined in for our session 0, you guys may have seen our custom of Lichen and Moss D20s made by yours truly at Ruby Rolls Resin. And so we are going to be doing a giveaway of an entire advantage set of our custom of Lichen and Moss dice. But in order to do this giveaway, we have a goal. Specifically being a follower goal here on Twitch, which is reaching 250 followers. Which we're pretty close to already. Like, we're only about 100 off. Yeah. So once we reach that 250 mark, the following stream, we will announce the official giveaway, and it'll be based on whoever's in that stream. So follow, share, and get dice, because we love shiny clickety-clack math rocks.
Who doesn't love math rocks?
And I believe, unless anyone else has any announcements, that we are ready to start. Except one thing we do have to say is the lovely music today is brought to you by Sirenscape. They're awesome and fun and super handy, so go check them out. Hey. every time.
Every time.
Every time. Every time.
So great.
Just so
Yes.
good.
Listen, I'm good at what I do.
No arguments.
Everyone praise
Yeah.
KJ for their amazing skills.
Praise.
Not
KJ.
to mention this whole setup.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
All right. But without further ado, I believe it's time to delve in to the campaign. So, welcome to the island of Teleday, an ancient sprawling landscape steeped in the history of a time long past and erupting with the founding of new discoveries. While the land itself is mostly untamed, there are a few brave folk of fur and feather that have managed to rein in the chaos and found their own kingdoms. Known as the Barbary Coalition, this tenuous truce of powers reigns over the entirety of Teleday. Each having control over their own province, they found it best to leave each other alone, except for the irregular moot or yearly symposium. From west to east, the powers are thus: the Globen Summit, residing in the peaks of the Calamar Mountains; the Velvet Clasp, which hold power over the largest region of Teleday; the Menagerie, who dwells within the twisting brambles and gnarled pines of the Wandering Wood; and lastly, the Yokor, which rules from the peaks of the towering aspen trees of the Silvermoor Forest. That forest is where our story begins. Far below the autumn leaves of the ancient trees, beneath their twisting branches and betwixt the light underbrush, the sound of revelry can be heard. Following the din through the beams of light glistening with dust, our senses are thrust into a world of stimulation. Wooden flutes and flaxen stringed instruments banter with each other, setting the stage for the pitter-patter of padded feet to fill the role of percussion. 'Tis a flurry of fur and feather, as mouse and mole, hedgehog and hen spin and twirl together, laughing all the while. The space in which this rapturous ruckus has taken place looks to be a log. If it had one time been damp and decrepit, there is no sign of it now, with its reinforced rivered stone walls leading up to its high arch-thatched ceilings. 3 large stained glass opalescent windows reside just under these arches, depicting what looks to be furfolk of all kinds joining together at a feast table, with 6 owl-shaped figures at its head. The walls are adorned with large plum tapestries edged with gold that furl down to just above the floor and are dappled all around the room. Tables with seating cards are dashed about for when the speeches start or the dancing denizens need a reprieve. At one of these tables, seated in their place, sits a small furfolk whose eyes dance across the festivities almost as swiftly as the twirling dancers as he fingers a slightly crumpled letter. Scree, would you like to introduce yourself?
You got it. Sitting at this table is a little rat folk covered with a large red scarf kind of bundled in. They're not super festive, but they're not as dirty as you might imagine. And then their blue, big old shawl that they have. And as they read and watch the festivities and dancing, I'm gonna do a little perception check to see if I can recognize anyone.
All right. Make a
So
perception check.
I'm
First roll of the
gonna do
campaign.
First roll.
They give a little sigh as they're kind of feeling a little tired to go back to their letter. I rolled a 6.
You look around, crumpling your letter and like releasing a little sigh from your travels here. Taking your time, you try to catch a glimpse of anyone or anything of import mixed amongst the partygoers. While there are a few folk you recognize, you're familiar with this area, there's something else that catches your eye. Tension seems to be growing across the den between the sleek lime green amphibious bartender and a rugged badger fellow. Your ears twitch as the peaks of their heightened conversation cut through the ruckus. Oh, you can't clash them canines like you like that tough guy. But that don't change the fact that the scribe said to make sure that you keep your wits about you. He swipes you see him swipe away a glass and cast a cautionary look towards the badger, waiting a response. Kerr, would you like to introduce yourself and respond?
Look, I've had a long day. I'm just here to grab a bite, a drink. Why you always gotta be up in my business? Kerr is a tall and looming badger who has a bit of a glum look on his face most of the time. He is adorned in a lot of trinkets and glowering at anybody who kind of gives him a look over. But is also happy to be looking around and eyeing everyone else as well. So a bit of a hypocrite.
Just kind of casting a glance towards you. The bartender, who's sleek but has these broad shoulders, and while lithe, you can see that his arms are just fully stacked muscle that have these twisting dark green tattoos that swirl down his arms and onto his fingertips, which on the very tips of each of his fingers there's a little drop, like a little just tattooed drop of liquid of some sort, which as he pulls a jar from the back, pours you a cup, and then stirs it with his finger. He goes, "All right, last one. Don't cause a mess."
Thank you kindly, and downs it.
As you turn from the bar, you notice the music has taken a more somber waltz-like atmosphere, and the rowdy stomping folk that had once overwhelmed the floor have now made their way for the flowing, elegant twirls of a ballroom.
Are there any single dancers?
Through the swaying, you don't notice any single dancers, but you do notice one person who is sticking out more than the others. A ferret, lithe and nimble, flows between partners like a leisurely river. Duke, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Duke is a albino ferret, pure white silky fur coat with this kind of crop top kind of thing going on for him. That's this light blue lacy floral material. You have no idea where he got this, but it seems to be tailor-made for him, even if it's not the best of quality. He's also got this sash of the same material tied around his waist. On the base of where his tail is, there's this golden, kind of rose gold cuff there. He's got tattoos on his piercings on his ears that are just simple silver hoops, and a very prominent diadem that adorns his forehead. You notice his eyes are pure red, but with this just grace, he just waltzes around the room between partners, almost as if he's done this hundreds of times before.
Watching this immaculate just dance and flow between partners, you, Duke, turning away from your most recent partner, are almost thrown off your feet as you just barely avoid a collision with a raccoon, who instead impacts with an unknowing featherfolk mid-spin. You lock eyes for a moment before you see her apologize quietly to the man and scurry away, disappearing into the throng of people as the joyous jigs and reels kick back into full swing and the floor is once again flooded with the joyous partygoers. Lav, would you make a sleight of hand check for me and introduce yourself?
Oh,
Let's go.
You sneaky not fox.
heck yeah.
That would be an 18.
Great. All right.
Hell yeah.
Introduce yourself if you wouldn't mind.
As a slender coon of folk makes her way stealthily away from the dance floor with a little bit of a twirl and into a corner hidden by some of the party guests, she takes from her palm a small pocket watch in which she has recently pilfered off of this fine feathered folk on the dance floor. She tucks it away into one of her many pockets on her overalls, adjusting her beret, leaning against the wall to scope out the rest of the room and see if there's any other fine little trinkets she may like to take. Taking out her handkerchief, she will just watch the room as the dancing continues, tapping her foot along to the beat.
Keep an eye on the swirling party. It seems to be in full swing. It is the most upbeat get-together like this that you've been to in quite a while. You take your time and watch the twisting and turn of all the partygoers. Keep an eye on the bartender to make sure that nothing's going on. And it's just as you notice, just as you're doing this, as you notice the scribe. You would all know what a scribe of the Yule Court looks like. This one in particular is a regal-looking, tuft-eared red squirrel with a large bushy tail, a checkered dark green and real purple tabard above him, and then this large frilled white collar that like those really that take up the majority of his person. It's very imposing. You see him making his way up onto the small stage that sits right beneath the stained glass windows, which you note it's time to find your seat. Which, looking at the small note card you had of which your table is, you make your way to the table that's assigned to you. As you approach, you see sitting there a small gray-furred rat with dust-brown undertones, a badger whose head is topped with a disheveled mohawk, and making their way from the dance floor towards the same table as you, a stark white ferret. You all sit down, and as you look at each other, the air hums around you. The air hums with the music around you, and the world is yours. So, my lovely players, what would you like to do?
Scream fidgets and folds up the paper and kind of like kicks his little feet because it's a little too small to reach the floor. Looks around and good dancing. Nodding to Duke.
Why, thank you. Years of practice.
You dance a lot.
Well, I'm a performer. It's kind of in the job description.
Good, nice.
Do you dance?
What? I can. Yeah. That is an obvious lie.
No perception needed.
So Kerr makes his way over to this table, also having pilfered some more drinks from other people's tables, and drops them down. All right, who wants what? One for you.
Nothing too heavy for me.
What is what, friend?
I'm not sure. It's blue, so I think that'll go well with your hat.
Who did you give the biggest glass to?
Definitely Scree.
Okay, good. Scree like looks at the glass like takes it, like places it onto his lap, and just holds it.
Alright, good job. Alright, and then downs his before slamming it back down. Oh my god, this party's already so boring.
Well, then let's make it less boring. Conversation's always fun.
What do you have in mind?
Well, there's this little game that me and my fellow performers usually play. It's great. Not quite an icebreaker, but gets you to know people.
I love.
And will, from a pouch.
How did you know my name?
It looks like after he'd finished dancing, he put back on some accoutrement and things that he'd been wearing. So he's now adorned with a belt, a couple of bracelets, this one-sided leather shoulder pauldron piece. He is in the middle of redoing what looks like hand wrappings, and his feet are now adorned with them as well.
You just carry
We
that
have this
on you.
game where, and from the pouch will produce dice. You roll a dice. Whoever gets the lowest has to tell a secret.
I bid. Who goes first?
Well, we roll. Lowest roll. And they're
have to
D6s.
Sort through the dice and pick out the one she thinks is shiniest to roll.
Oh, all of them are pretty freaking shiny. These are all beautiful dice.
Roll for shininess of the dice
Roll
you picked.
for shininess.
Roll for shiny.
Roll for shiny. Roll for shiny before rolling for dice.
Duke picks up one that's like a pearl white.
Ooh.
When Duke picked that up, Scree like started to reach for it, but then Duke picked up, so Scree's like, "Oh, okay." Picked up a different one.
Actually, we're gonna go with this.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Mine's digital.
I got a 2.
5.
That would
I
be
got a
a 3.
Looks like I'm the lowest then.
So what secrets do you
Alright.
have, Pretty Ferret?
Oh, I'm filled with secrets.
How many?
What's a
Where'd you
good
get them?
one?
Are they all yours?
Not all of them are mine. Most of them are other people's.
Ooh, what one's the juiciest?
Oh,
Scree's pretending to be uninterested, but like is very like clearly like.
Duke will kind of lean forward, crossing his arms on the table. All right. Juiciest, most full of tea, you might say. 2 of the people I perform with in the circus I'm a part of, there's some feather folk. Not many people know this, but they're secretly in a relationship. Haven't told anyone out public about it, but you can tell.
Are they supposed to be? Are they
I
siblings?
mean, no, they're not siblings. They came from
okay,
the same hometown, though. They're childhood best friends.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
kind of stories.
My favorite, in fact.
That's a good secret. That's harmless.
All right,
Okay.
pick up your dice. Roll again. 4.
6. Kerr looks actually kind of annoyed to be getting rolled so high.
That you're rolling so high.
That'll blend.
All right, Rat Dog, what's your secret?
Scree looks at the dice, looks down. I can't actually dance.
And
I lied, I'm sorry.
Duke just kind of leans back and is like, I can fix that.
Oh, did you say that out loud?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how?
I can teach you.
Do you have a spell? Oh!
I'm
Oh, like
messing with
learning! I
people.
love that!
Yeah.
Does it cost? I don't have. Hold on. I think. How much does it cost?
I would guess a wink and a dance is all it costs for this one.
A week. Got it.
Kurt, Duke just kind of looks over at you and kind of gives you a wink and a smile. And then we'll look back at Scree. First lesson's on me.
Oh no.
Yeah!
think-
Free dance! How hard could it be, right? It's not hard, right?
Depends on the style of dance. Depends on what you want to learn.
How many dances are there?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
At least 7.
27. That's so many. That's so many.
I've mustered about 6 of them.
6 of all 7 dances that there are?
Well, there's more than 7, but roll again.
Oh, yeah.
During this next roll, I think Kerr wants to try a sleight of hand to grab one of the letters from someone else's pocket.
Actually, the funny what? Oh God.
So technically, the only person you know has a letter currently is Scree, because you saw him fiddling with it when you first showed
Yeah.
up. So you can try to steal from Scree.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, let me do rollies, I guess.
So you roll a sleight of hand check, and everyone else roll their d6s for the secrets game.
Already did. I got a 6.
Ooh, that was 15 on the dice.
My passive's 11, so you got it.
So 15 on the dice, and then a 0 dex. So
I'm so focused on this dice and learning how to dance. You have no idea.
So you just casually kind of like reach over and pocket, and 2 fingers into the pocket, pull out the little crumpled up letter that you saw Scree fidgeting with earlier.
I think Duke actually wants to try to use his tail if possible, depending. He might also use his hand to try to fudge Kerr's dice roll.
okay.
Oh, okay.
That was a 4
So I just
on
got,
the dice.
what did you? What did you
4
roll
on-
for sleight of hand again, Kerr?
For
Sorry.
sleight of hand was 15. It's flat.
Okay,
Mhm.
Lav, you see Kerr do it
Nice.
with your passive perception.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because I'm away, I do not have the letter with me.
It's
So
okay. I also have a picture. I have a picture of it.
That is so smart.
Our GM is prepared for our shenanigans. They are ready.
Roll your sleight of hand, dude.
Oh God, I have to remember what it is. I think it's good. Yeah.
Fudge my roll. Fudge my roll.
Okay, sleight of hand.
What did you get?
22.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah.
None of you even noticed, but Kerr's dice just. What were you trying to?
I
Tip it
was
over
trying to get Kerr to be a 1.
Okay, with that sleight of hand check, I'll allow it.
Which makes
So-
yours the lowest roll.
Excellent. So Kerr like takes the paper and like kind of like tucks it away for a minute just because he wanted to just grab hold of it. Seeing that the dice is lowest, finally, Kerr like smiles, cracks his fist. All right, what do you want to know? Do you want to know something juicy? Do you want to know something that who's got odds with each other? What do we want to talk about?
I want to know something personal about yourself, like something that like maybe you're insecure about.
Oh, we're going straight in.
Holding no
Your
punches.
darkest secret.
Or I want to know who you secretly have a crush on.
I'll tell you this first, rat friend. I don't have much secrets when it comes to any lovers of mine. I'll let you say that. I will say, GM, are any of Kerr's flames hanging around the dance floor?
Oh,
Roll a d20 for me.
That one.
we're supposed to over there.
Oh,
I
that
think
was
that's
a 1.
fine.
That was a 1.
You
I'm
see
guilty.
one large you see one large dog like creature folk who is towering, even taller than you, super shaggy to the point where it's like one of those mop dogs where you can't see his eyes, and he just every so often goes and you just remember having the worst time with him. He was the worst partner in any way. Like you went on a job with him forever ago, and you tried to make it something, and like you guys tried to have something a little bit more spicy, and it was just the worst.
Kerr very much just like grabs heads and like turns it. All I have to say, sometimes you just can't fix a man. And then just like listen.
I love the idea of Kerr like confidently being like, let me point out who I've. Oh.
All right. Finish your drinks. What's next? Come on now.
It's around this time that you notice a lull has come around the conversation. Everyone around you is kind of quieted down. You hear a few whispers being like, oh, it's about to get even more boring. Oh, shut up, it'll be fine. As you see the scribe who you saw going up to the stage earlier has finally adjusted himself enough. And as he stands there, along with his checkered tabard and large frilled collar, on top of his head is a little Peter Pan, deep green Peter Pan hat with a purple feather, and on either of his shoulders, it looks like two hollowed out acorn shells that have this kind of like mesh on the front that crackle a little bit. He looks towards you all, and you can see him kind of fidgeting a little bit. His tail and ear tufts are always quivering just the tiniest bit, as from his waist he pulls out this wand-looking device that has a small owl on top with an open mouth. And he taps it on the ground, tunk, 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 and kind of raises it to his mouth. And as he does, as he taps it, the two meshed acorns start glowing with this dull teal-like glow. And you hear his voice echo across the chamber and go, hello, oh, sorry, tink, tink, tink. That's better. My dear folk, thank you ever so much for gathering here to celebrate the life of our dear Willow Sturdy Spike. I'm sure we all have our own stories of how her kindness has touched us at various points in our lives. I am also sure that if she was still with us, she would be appalled that we even paused to give her the spotlight. I know myself that and his ramble starts to kind of deluge into a just din of stories of his personal, very touching experiences with Willow Sturdy Spike. As you, Lav, notice Madame Angela lingering in the shadows to the left of the stage. Catching your eye for a second, she flashes you some discreet hand symbols, which you recognize as Thieves' Cant. As she silently makes her way back to her table, which seems to be a kind of raised table a bit to the left. Using Thieves' Cant, you understand that the signs that she flashed your way essentially meant something as meet up after he's done talking in the back room. The speech itself is heartfelt, if not a bit meandering, as the scribe ponders aloud the fleetingness of life, making grandiose gestures and wishing good health and long life to everyone in attendance. As the speech ends, he goes, "Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the food and drinks provided by lovely Madame there she is, Madame Angela, our lovely herbalist. And make sure that you all travel home safely. It would be a shame to have to gather again here next week. I'm rather busy. Thank you." And he kind of hops off the stage and wanders away as the music kicks back into full swing and the just ruckus of conversation fills the room again. As you are left back to your table. Lav, you notice that as he gets off the stage, Madame Angela stands and enters the back room.
All right. Lav will proceed to finish the last of her blue concoction that Kerr brought to the table. Raise it. Thank you, my good sir.
She also told you to bring everyone with you.
Oh.
Sorry, that's important.
Yes, it is. That's not in the letter.
No, in the Thieves' Cant.
In the Thieves' Cant.
In the Thieves' Cant. That she flashed you.
I certainly appreciate the drinks. I think it's only fair. We've each told a secret. I believe it's my turn. We all have been summoned. And if you wouldn't mind to follow me.
I'm
Wait, you
down.
guys too? Nice.
Everyone.
I
Sounds
don't
like
just
we're a
follow
team
people
now.
anywhere. That's a great way to get yourself killed.
It's also a great way to start a story.
Me dangerous.
Scree does the like hush hush thing to do like way too far
And-
away.
and-
Her hands like
and-
across the table like
It- even though it's far away, Duke leans back away.
T word. It's a quest. We got a quest.
We've all received letters, I assume.
I mean, invitations, at least. But I believe there's someone here we need to meet with, and she specifically requested all of you come as well. Not sure why yet, but apparently,
Color me intrigued.
Don't worry, Snowflake. I'll keep you safe.
Don't ever call me that again. And Duke will stand up.
Scree will kind of leave the drink there and like hop out of the chair. And
has Scree been drinking it at all, or just like holding it?
Scree's taken like a sip. It's still pretty full.
Kerr picks it up and downs it, and then follows. And then also, and then also straight up like pulls the note out to read it as he's walking behind everybody.
Amazing.
I will send you that.
Duke is taking his drink with him. He doesn't care. He'll take the glass too.
Technically, you're not leaving the premises, so no one will talk.
Yeah.
Listen,
There you
that
go.
doesn't matter. It is now my cup.
Sure, that letter has been sent to you via the Insta. All right. So you all get up and make your way through the bustling. Now, as you were all aware, but now as the viewers know that you are all attending, it's not too difficult as a lot of the dancing has died down. And as you make your way into and through the door that Madame Angela went through, you enter into a dimly lit room that is lit with these luminescent mushrooms that give it a very cozy, warm feel. There's a small fireplace in the back corner that is not lit and a circle table in the front. This looks to be some sort of like back gaming room, essentially, where either cards or private conversations or other such discussions can take place. And there, sitting there, you see a well-kept, tall fox lady. She's wearing a flowing green robe with a light lavender shawl around her neck, and her hair is braided down to either side of her neck. She has this deep auburn fur that is starting to gray around the snout, and these long my stream just glitched out. Sorry.
Okay, I thought it was just me.
I was like, it's
So
just me.
robots,
Have
we
to
had
get
to-
that problem.
Am I frozen?
We're gonna ask you to redo
No,
that
you're good.
really cool description. We got the braids, and then
Yes.
you kind of went full Robo Man.
Yeah, we got green dress as well.
That's so good. It's so good. All the screens just went black for a second. I was like, okay.
Scary.
You're so good. Thick braids on the side, and then she has this deep auburn fur that kind of grays towards the front of her snout, and these long whiskers that have been curled at the ends into kind of small curlicues. She's kitted out with just a slew of various bottles and potions and spell components, and she is a walking, she's a walking apothecary store. It seems as if she tries to keep everything she needs to on her person at all times. And as you walk in, she goes, "Oh, welcome, my dears. Please gather around. Take a seat. Take a seat. Live, it is wonderful to see you. Thank you for catching my message and bringing your soon-to-be acquaintances in with you. Scree, it is lovely seeing you again. And you
It's so
been
good to
quite
see you.
wild."
Scree's gonna run up and give her a big ol' hug.
For Duke and Kirk, you recognize Angela, but your business was mostly done with Willow. Angela is Willow's mentor. So she was like around, but essentially Willow took over Angela's business, and Angela is technically retired now.
Oh, okay.
Goes, well, now that the she looks towards the door behind you, festivities are mainly over, our social obligations are done. I, at request of Chester, am here to ask of some assistance of you four in particular. According to Chester, you could all be very useful in this upcoming... And she kind of raises her hand and pulls on her whisker and just curls it for a second. Endeavor that we have to delve into. I'm sure you all are all aware that our lovely Willow has disappeared. The main difference is that we don't believe that she's died. She's far too smart and clever for that, has lived in these woods for far too long to be picked off by some hungry predator. So,
Well, I'm sorry
that
to
is what
burst your
Chester...
bubble, but I've got things I've got to do, my own little mission I'm running, so unless they happen to coincide with each other, I don't know if I'm going to be able to help you.
That's fair. This is an open invitation. You can say yay or nay. But I do believe there could be some interest. And this mission will take you across various parts. So if you're searching for something, then it could assist you. You see, there have been a slew of disappearances, both in the east and across all of Teleday from my sources, but mainly here in the Silvermore Wood. They started 1 or 2 a month, but now have escalated to about 1 a week. And while the lovely scribes of our Yule Court do believe that, would try to make us believe that they're merely a rise in predators and heinous beasts that are scooping people up, it's starting to get a bit fishy. And some very skilled folk have gone missing that wouldn't normally fall prey. And to be honest, most prey even love Willow. She heals everyone, as much as I tell her not to. So, if it co-aligns with you and your mission, Duke, and Kerr, and Lavender, and Scree, Chester and I would request your aid in searching out information on these disappearances. Chester himself is already out there. In fact, your first endeavor would be to go meet up with him to the south, towards the city of Emloa. He is on a trail of one said disappearances. Apparently a small family of vole children have gone missing. And he went in similar situations into a similar location that Willow was. So he went to investigate that instead of playing along with this us.
Duke kind of leans forward and fiddles with something that he had pulled out of a pouch. It's about this big. I actually have it. I was given props. Did you ever find anything left behind?
Not yet. We've only started our investigation when Willow was missing. This is the first lead we have, really.
You said people have been disappearing across Teleday? I'm not from anyone near here. More Velvet Class territory. But we got attacked in the night. Some of our folk were stolen. My brother being one of them. That's why I'm out here. I was able to nag one of these off of them. I don't know if it'll be any help or if it's even has anything to do with this, but if it does, and it helps me find my brother.
That co-aligns with the stories we've heard. The Vole family was taken in the night as well. things were tossed, trampled, and then just they were gone. The father came into my hole, a just distraught mess. Sadly, they didn't apparently leave anything behind. Though one rumor did say that, oh, someone is having a raucous good time out there. What is happening? Kind of just cackle of laughter walks by the door. Goes, people always get so happy during funerals. Anyway,
Something about life and death.
There was one rumor of a cloaked denizen scooping up people in the night in the city of Imloa. But there's lots of stories that come out of that city. And that city is known for having some mysterious happenings, so I didn't look too much into it. But if you go and help Chester, you may find some clues and find something that may link your brother's disappearance to the disappearances here.
On the back of this, just so you're aware, it reads, "Nestled in nettles, the Baroness awaits, a morsel for her royal tastes." I have no idea what that means.
Gilded in briar, she holds your fate. If into the woods you wander late. Yes, that's an old nursery rhyme from a bygone era. It's interesting that it's on your medallion, though. May I see that?
It's got to do with something. Duke will just
She kind of
hand
reaches
it.
out her hand. As she reaches out her hand, it's just long, and you see her fingers are a little bit longer than you expect with these curling claws, and she kind of claps it in between her claws and looks at it. You see one of her eyes flash momentarily with a whimsical light as she looks and goes, I've never seen a medallion of this snake before. I will do some research on it. It's interesting as she hands it back to you. Interesting that it has a reference to that, the Baroness of the Briar Baroness. An old ghost story, really. Well, used to be the real person, ages and ages ago, but it's just mostly ghost stories now.
That's how all stories start, aren't they?
With ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ghosts?
Every story sends some.
Lab and Scurry will just like share this really intense, like.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, good. You're already making friends. Lovely.
Every story starts from something. There's at least a little bit of truth in all of them. I should know. I twist a lot of them.
Wait,
And
so
if
the feather folk aren't dating?
Oh, no. That one's true. That one's true.
I'm
I
so
believe him.
happy for them.
that is to say, this won't be going unpaid either. If you don't find anything useful in your searches, I'm sure the extra glass will be of assistance to you in your journey. I have saved quite a little sum in my time. So there is indeed a nice little lump of blue glass waiting for you, about 25 each.
I'm in.
I mean, you
Jest
know.
is also paying for it
Good
from his
tester.
guild funds.
Excellent. Even better.
I could use the glass. It's not cheap traveling across the country.
Indeed. So, are you in then?
It'll make a good story if nothing else.
If they don't come in, can I have their glass?
The glass will be divided appropriately depending on how many members of the party there are.
You can have my glass. Chester thought I was cool enough to recommend me. That's good enough for me.
Excellent. You all heard that, right? Excellent.
Wonderful. Now, Chester left last night to head down towards the Full family home. It's about a 2-day journey to the south. You won't quite hit the capital city of the Yule Court, but you'll get pretty darn close. Two days by foot, 1 day by river. So you can decide on that amongst yourselves. If you need to kit out before you go, the town, well, while Alderbury is small, it does have the basics. So could at least gather the few things you need. You can leave as soon or as late as you wish, though the longer you wait, the more Chester has to bumble through things himself. And as kind as a man as he is, he needs assistance. So, any questions you have for me?
Do you have any traveling implements, or are we going by foot?
You know, talk to Grundle. Grundle Vole. That's the father of the Vole family. He brought his boat, his little ship, here to get here as fast as possible. So maybe he could lend it to you, or even guide it towards you, guide it down the river for you, if he wishes to venture with you. He is a bit scattered right now, so I don't know if he is mentally capable of handling going back to the scene of the crime. But the river's not too hard in this part of the wood. As long as you don't get all the way to Elm Lower Lake and get swallowed up by the whirlpool, you should be fine.
What could go wrong? Not a thing.
Nothing could go wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I say every day, and look what I... Oh. Anyway. Well, I do have some bonuses, since you agreed. And she ruffles through her various pockets and pulls out these 3 small vials and slides them towards you. These are little boosts to your constitution. You get 3 base health potions to disperse amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
3 total.
3 for the party.
Screw will scoop them up and then hold them out to the other 3. All right, take one.
Duke will pluck one, like, before you even start talking.
Now,
I'm tough. I don't need
wish you safe travels. I should probably find that scribe before he drowns himself in whatever poison he was. He's a bit too friendly with that bartender. So, thank you all for coming. I'm sorry to drag you across Teleday for this. But Chester had his choice of people, and he chose Scree and Lav, and then I looked through Willow's records and found you 2. So, I think your skill will be quite useful here. Good
That's
luck.
why I was a secondary pick.
Well, I mean, Chester doesn't really know you that well, I feel. And he's a bit dim.
Kind of like straightens, like chest puffs out. I was like, nah, we're a team. Chester, I mean, what's me? But we are a team, and we're gonna get this mission done. All in. Like puts a hand in the middle of everyone. And break. Let's go.
Like Lab will tentatively like slide in a paw.
Oh, I thought no one put a hand in. Okay, cool.
Cor was about to, but
Duke had no. Duke was just like looking you up and down, like, what is the idea here?
Snowflake, you gotta learn to have some fun.
Don't call me Snowflake.
Well, he's saying like snowball, so Snowflake was the next obvious transition.
If you want to call me something, you could at least use my stage name.
Which is?
The Alpine Shadow.
I don't know, it's a little bit pretentious, don't you think?
Scree kind of starts
I'm a circus performer. What do you expect?
You just see
and as
Angela lean back in her chair, and this wicked grin goes across her face, and she kind of chuckles. The good old days. Beautiful. and gets up and leaves.
That is one weird
What were you saying, Lav?
grandmother.
Oh, as Angela leaves, Lav will grasp her hand and just kind of like share this like moment of condolence with Angela.
We'll be all right, dear. You'll find her. I know it. And hopefully some tips on your own journey as well.
We've both lost
Just
something
remember-
here, and I hope we find at least something.
Well, don't forget, he's around you always. You are in an aspen forest, after. She gives you one last little shake of the hand. And goes, all right. At my apothecary if you need anything else. I'm going to go save the scribe. Deuces!
I hope I'm half
She
as
just
weird when
closes
I'm
the door, slams, goes, oh, Fibba, get away from that! And her voice disappears into the ruckus.
Oh,
And you are left into this
little,
room, in this private room by yourselves.
little ratty friend, you drop this, and like we'll hand over the crumpled note.
Oh, Scree left the room.
Oh, you
Scree
left.
is
We're
headed
following
out
you.
of the building.
Right.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're following them.
I'll take it. This is very important. Very secret. I hope no one read it. You keep walking.
Keep your friends close, enemies closer.
Oh, right.
As we start walking, Duke is just whistling a jaunty little tune.
Jukebox hero?
Lavender will try to spot out any vole folk looking for Grundlevole.
So as you all make your way out of the private room and back into the ruckus of the main celebration, make a perception check for me, Lev, as you look for Grundlevole.
That look was iffy.
7.
Oof. There's a lot of people here. And voles aren't the tallest creatures in the world. So try as you might to find Grundle in specific, you can't seem to catch an eye. You do see Madame Angela pulling the scribe away from the bar and kind of guiding him very calmly towards the table that she was sitting at before, as well as Kerr's ex-flame leaving the building.
Duke will be also looking for the vole, but Duke's eyesight isn't great, so all of his relies on smells and what he can
Okay.
hear.
Nice.
Um,
Yes, make you.
Kerr, was it? I'm sorry. The crowd's fairly large. If you're going to find Grundle, I might need to get a better viewpoint. Could I possibly get on your shoulders?
Well, I mean, you asked so nicely. And Kerr will actually like reach down and then like lift you up and put you on his shoulders.
Yes.
Just the two tallest members of the party going on each other's shoulders. What did you roll, Duke?
18.
18. As you're being put up onto her shoulders, Duke, you get a whiff of soggy fur coming from the south side of the reception hall. And as you kind of look over that way, you catch the glimpse of this long-nosed, gray-furred vole who has these small little wire-gleamed glasses, and you can just hear him kind of like sobbing to himself in the corner with this very large tankard.
Duke will just, still keeping up the whistling tune, pivot smoothly towards that direction, not saying anything to anyone else, but walking that way.
Which, with your passive perception lab and being on top of Kerr's shoulders, you see just the white fur of Duke just start weaving out towards the corner, and kind of following the direction they're going, you spot Grundlevole off by himself in the corner.
Oh, found him!
Oh, hey, nice.
feel like we could get a whole stack going here, though. I'm tempted to get this.
Imagine.
You do have an acrobat.
We do have an acrobat. Listen. But Duke will walk up
This
to
will
him,
come in
just
handy
kind
later
of.
in the campaign.
It's a secret Muscatool that'll help us later. Duke will just kind of slide smoothly, not trying to startle him, noticing the demeanor that he's in, and just will say, "Are you all right, friend?"
Doesn't notice you.
Duke will just rest a paw on his shoulder. "Are you okay?"
No.
Do you mind?
Quite sad, actually.
Do you want to talk about it?
No. At this
Totally
and you
okay.
see as you're trying to calm him, he kind of like cowering goes, "Oh!" as Kerr and Lav, cowering on top of each other, come up behind you. Like, "Oh, it's a giant monster!" Oh, wait, no. He's very far gone. Getting closer, the smell of just soggy fur disappears, and it is just full booze.
Yeah.
Oh.
We were told that you had
You have a ship, right?
an incident. We'll get to that in a moment. We were told that you had an incident, and we're here to help. But we need travel.
I traveled once with my family up and down the river. We used to pick out the berries, and now they're gone.
We're going to find them.
And as you say that, his eyes
them.
kind of clear for a moment. Goes, "Find him? Me, wee Betty and Benson."
Yeah, we're gonna find them for you.
Or find out what happened to them at least.
Yes, we're a rescue team.
Maybe brave team. Find out.
The wave team.
It's as you call yourselves the rescuer team. He kind of like gets up and kind of does a small little jig. Like, "Oh, my lads and lassie, gotta be found. Whatever you need, whatever you want. You want my drink? You want my glasses? Help me see."
You can keep those. That's fine. You need those. We were just told.
Okay,
Lav will like put the glasses back on and take the drink for Kerr.
We were told that you might have a boat.
"Oh, I have a knight in my ship, the Chestnut."
We were told maybe you might help us travel.
"I've lost my will to sail."
I'm sure we can find it again.
If you can't sail for us or with us, maybe just letting us borrow it for a time. We'll bring it back.
I've had some sailing experience. I promise I'll take good care of the Chestnut.
It's all I have left. Either Duke or Lav make a perception, not perception check, a persuasion check.
I'll do it.
Or one of you make it with advantage.
Okay. Listen, I'm good at these.
All right, make it with advantage then.
Duke is putting it on pretty heavy. Let's be honest.
Yes. Listen, this is what he does. That's a 22.
I don't know about you. I rolled a 22.
You see his eyes just start welling, and he goes, "All right, take care of the Chestnut. Remember, it's all I have left now.
We'll bring it and your family back. I promise."
All right. And he just starts like looking around. You're like, "And now I've lost my drink."
Lav will hop off Kerr, be like, "I will go get you another right away, sir," and will rush off to the bartender to get a very large glass of water topped with beer.
Just hand to him, and he starts just chugging it. "Oh, that's quite refreshing beer. Wow. Everything's better with friends. Are we friends?"
You sure you don't want to come? You may lost a will to sail, but sail you will. Ha! Nice.
Oh, you're quite charming.
My name's no, I'm Scree actually. Hi, nice to meet you. Grabs his hand
and you grab his hand and shakes, and he's just so limp. It's like a dead fish.
Don't worry, I'll do this part.
He kind of like looks at you and goes, "I know, just kind of get in your way, honestly. I haven't got any sort of skills besides sailing, and the woods are a bit spooky. But if you take my boat, then I trust you to bring it back to me. And
I mean, you could stay with the ship and just sail with us. It could be grand old time. You and me sailing through the river.
And me,
grand
the rest of
adventure.
you all just see him kind of like sway for a second and like slowly blink with one eye and then the other. You were saying lots of pretty words, lady. What were you just saying again?
This man should not sail a boat.
Drink up. And like serve the drink over to him again. Come on, drink it up. Yep.
You're mighty fine. What a invention in the best hands.
It's
and he
that
kind of like
one, right?
drops down.
That one right
What?
there? That boat? Tessa? Right there. That what it? No. Are we near the water? Actually, I should ask.
No, you're still in the log. You're still in the reception hall.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
You're like on the south side of the reception hall. He's like at the funeral, but he's having like his own little morning session in the corner.
I see. That makes sense. I take back everything I just said.
Which, like, he just looks at you and blinks anyway. He's just like, my boat's down by the river. It's the chestnut-colored one. It has a big old sail, and on the sail, it has the symbol of a little bowl doing a star. My Betty painted it up fencing.
I love it.
Huh? How cute.
It's just tied there. You can just cut the rope.
Duke will just kind of guide him back down to a chair and just kind of like pat his back. We're going to take care of everything. I'm going to have someone come over and help you. Get you to wherever you're staying. You look like you need some rest.
That lovely Madam Angela over there is letting me crash at her place.
Excellent. So we can. Looks like he's fine. Let's go.
Duke will go over to where Madam Angela is and just be like, he's had a bit too much to drink. He needs to go lie down.
She looks at you still like nursing the scribe and as she takes I almost said bottle, a jug away from the scribe, she goes, why am I always the caretaker of these damn men? Walks over. I was like, I'll take care of him. Hold on. Just like takes the thing.
After Duke said that, he was just like, yeah, whatever, just walking away.
Solid. So you reconvene, and where would you like to go? To the boat? Outside?
Duke's heading outside.
Anything you would like to gather, or any kit or gear you need before you head off on your journey? Anything you would like to do before delving away into the forest?
Curry makes a quick stop just to grab like his adventurer pack and his little instruments before heading towards the rest of them.
Duke is doing the same thing. He has a little sack that he had with him with a couple of instruments tied to it as well.
Right. So as you're all kind of kitting up and gearing, getting yourselves ready for travel, why don't you all explain your traveling gear and the kind of kit and gear and accoutrement effects that you all use when traveling?
I'll go first. So
Yeah.
the bag that Duke has is made out of a leaf, a really big leaf. It's not the biggest bag in the world, but it's enough to fit what he carries, which, from what you can tell, looks to be sleeping arrangements and a couple pairs of clothes. But outside of that, it doesn't sound like there's anything else in the bag, except he stores the potion in there. And attached to the outside, let me pull up my inventory real quick. There is a pan flute and a hand drum that dangle off the front and bottom of it, along with a dagger that is attached to the side, a couple of darts that are poking out of a front pocket, and a water skin that hangs off the other side. But other than that, he seems to be traveling light.
Kerr is similarly traveling light, just like a single, like little small string bag, basically with a couple of extra items. Basic is all he really carries. Everything else is in his pockets. One thing he does particularly carry as a weapon is something that looks like a meat tenderizer. It's a bit old and rusted, but does the job. And then also a lute is what he uses as an instrument. So he has that strong against his back.
Alrighty. Lav will gather her equipment, most of which she kept on. She'll fasten her leather neck piece with the cascading arm bit on and grab her bag and her little shield, which honestly looks like a relic that's been hand painted. It's got these holes in it. Which a spoon is strapped through the leather ties, and she'll fasten it onto the back of her arm so she can still move and fiddle with things while having it equipped. And she will tie around this large chain with a curved dagger on the end that she will fasten to her belt. And she will actually switch out her shoes. She was wearing small flat. She was not wearing shoes, and now she will put on these large adventuring boots. She was not wearing shoes during the dance portion of the night.
So Scree has that big old red scarf and then a large blue poncho that kind of swallows him up. And you can kind of see these like leather boots sticking out from under it. Scree's armor is already kind of under the poncho, so you can't really see it quite yet, but it definitely bulks up the fit a little bit. You do see them kind of like slide on this backpack made of folded bark and then just like cloth sides. And you see them equipped their greatsword, which, for those of you at home that would know what this is, it's kind of, it's weird here. It's kind of a relic. It is a scissor. Not scissors, a scissor. So they kind of like get that kind of strapped on, flip the cloak kind of over the handle, so then just the blade is sticking out.
This is a good thing that I forgot. Our weapons look slightly different. The dagger looks like a porcupine quill that he picked up somewhere, that he wrapped the bottom with some leather hide. And the darts look to be like pine needles that have been dipped in a resin of some kind.
I like that.
Yeah.
So all kitted out and ready for adventure, you leave the reception hall and make your way through the small town of Elderberry, which is very humble beginnings. It's not even on most maps. As you wander through, you see mostly small homesteads made out of logs or ramshackled sticks and mud, and some that have overtaken the bottom of large trees that seem a bit more regal than others. But nothing too fancy. A few folks seem to be wandering from house to house. There are a few shops here, probably about 3 or 4 shops betwixt the apothecary, the general store, and a small little blacksmith that Lav and Scree, you would both know, mainly just does household tools and various repairs, not so much armor and weapons. Making your way through the single road that goes through the entirety of this town, you make your way to the large river that goes through the entirety of the Silvermore Wood. It's wide enough where it would be a bit of a pain to swim across, but could be managed if you really wanted to. And it seems the current goes from north to south, so it seems to be going in the direction that you would be traveling. There are a few boats tied up of various sizes, some made out of large walnuts that have been hollowed out, logs that have been tied together, and then you see one that seems to be made out of the shell of a large turtle. On the sides, it's a large shell, and the sides are just painted with this kind of light brown chestnutty color, and you see the singular sail with the starfish full child painted onto it, and you recognize, and you assume that this is most likely the chestnut that you have been told to seek out. Seems to have enough space for all of you. It is
the star symbol. Yeah, no, that's it.
The Screw taking the extra second to look at the flag and kind of you all circling it. It seems pretty well kept. Thinking back to what you know of bulls in the bull family, it seems as if this is specifically a water bull family. So they seem to be pretty kitted out and do most of their trade. Inside the boat, you can see a few of their trade items, such as, seems like they mainly deal in the berry trade. So there's these large, like melon-sized to you guys, berries inside the boat. So there's these little elderberries that are the size of like a cantaloupe inside. There's about 12. So everything you need for a good amount of sailing.
Duke will immediately like jump on board the ship and like find a couple like loose pieces of rope to tie to like the main mast of the ship and then the side of the ship somewhere, and then just fasten a piece of cloth over top of it to make a makeshift hammock, and then just jumps in it and lounges.
Scree hops on and like kind of like stoked to be like sailing, or like goes over to the front of the helmet or to like the front of the ship, and it's like, all right, away. And looks back and it's like, oh yeah, who's gonna pilot?
Yeah, Kerr looks to where the ropes are tied off and like looks to like get that situation sorted out, and where the said paddles are situated and where the rudder is.
Right. Looking about, everything seems pretty. It's very efficiently out. The rudder, it is a single rudder boat system, so it has a large rudder in the back, and then that's pretty much its only way of steering. It's not. You can tell that this boat is definitely for river travel, not so much like open ocean or large lake travel too much. It have these two large oars that are longer than wide, so they're about they're about 2 curs tall. So they're long enough where they can reach down to the bottom of the river and kind of push if they really needed to. And then just have these little tiny oars for actual rowing at the end. It seems like more often than not, unless they're going against the stream, the boat pretty much propels itself with the current and the sail.
Screw's gonna head over to one of the big oars and be like, all right, I got this, let's go. I'm like, loved it. Like start trying to push us off.
I just realize this oar is probably like 4 times, no, even more than that of the stream.
Kerr does just like stand and watch this for a minute. Like, no, you got this.
So Scree has it like kind of like, if this is the edge of the ship and like the water's over there, Scree has it like propped up so it's like leaning on that, and it's like barely like the tip is or like the very tip of it's barely touching the water because Scree's just like, all right, let's go. Like trying to use that leverage, it's not working. But
What's your strength, Scree?
it's pretty good. Do you mean a roll or just
No, it's like what's your strength score in general?
15?
15. All right. You see, you all look at Scree a little questioningly, but he's holding the oar ready to go. He seems real confident. So, point of order, who is manning the other oar? Which, for the first part, you may not need oars, and then who is helming the rudder? So who's
I
driving?
will.
Duke isn't doing anything.
Kerr will take the other oar.
Perfect.
With her on one oar and Scurry on the other, and Lav standing at the rudder. Duke, you start kind of swaying back and forth as the ropes are removed, and Kerr pushes off the bank into the
Ice Queen,
street.
do you want to tell us how we're doing? Kerr shouts up to Duke. Hey, Ice Queen, do you want to tell us how we're doing?
Unless you call me by my name, I'm not going to acknowledge that you're talking to me.
And the current picks you up. Duke slowly sways back a moment as the current picks up, and you set off down the river and towards the southern edge of the Silvermore Forest.
Nothing can go wrong.
Oh, we're
Sailing
going on
the river,
ship,
the
our
world.
favorite chestnut ship, rolling through the fields of the river until day.
So the branch of the river you are rolling down, every river in Teleday is connected. It's all one major river with a bunch of different branches. So it's all the Autumn Ram River as you flow down this one branch of it. Past you, the sun, it's early morning. It was an early morning funeral. As the sun kind of crests in the sky, you can see the light beams shining through the silver dark, tall, spindly aspen trees that flow on either side. It's a fairly peaceful journey. It's morning, the birds are chirping, the air is fresh, and you almost get that fresh rain air smell from the water as the spray splashes up from the river as you all journey down without much issue for the start. Lav, as you're guiding the boat, I'm gonna need you to make a vehicle handling check, which you can use your dexterity or to make a dex check or a strength check, depending on which way you're going about it.
We're gonna do a dex check.
And if you're proficient with water vehicles, you may add your proficiency bonus. Which I don't believe you are. But
I don't think I'm actually proficient. I have some experience, but I wouldn't say proficiency, which is a 10.
10. All right.
Great.
So there's part where you're going down the river and something catches your eye to the right.
It's so shiny.
To the right as you look, and you see just this large shadow walking along about 20 feet into the forest. It's this towering, gargantuan shadow. You can make a nature check if you wish. That you can't quite see through the spindly leaves. You can't quite make out what it is. It's your chance. But as you're getting distracted by this, as you're getting distracted by this,
distracted by it. I want to know.
Kind of like when you're driving and you see something, or like, let's be say when you're walking and see something interesting and you start naturally just going towards that thing. The boat starts slightly drifting to the right as you make out what looks to be a large it's a predator, essentially.
Bigfoot.
He's Bigfoot, yes.
Yes.
It's this, and you kind of, for a second, you look at the shadow and then you look over towards Kerr as you notice that it's this large primal badger that is about 4 or 5 feet long and about 3 feet high, with these kind of bony outcroppings coming out of its back, down his spine. On his tail, it has this really thick hair that makes its own, that has been hardened into spikes. And you can see just a slight glow in its eyes. It kind of looks towards you as the boat gets a little closer. And that's when you realize that you're starting to veer to the right, and you quickly correct the oar to veer from the other direction. As the primal badger looks towards you for a second, roughs off the other direction, seemingly not wanting to deal with the river. But a 10 was enough to not crash them, so you continue on your way down the river through the wilds of the Silvermoor Forest, which, off the road, the Silvermoor Forest can get rather scary. The Yule Court being hands-off and not having a patrolling army of any sort, the wilds are essentially the wilds, and the primal creatures kind of have free reins of the heavy forest, along with various bandits and other nefarious folk that seem to make their life in this forest. But the river, being the main form of transportation throughout the entirety of Tele, is often safe. As you sail down the river an hour, 2, 3, you pass a few other travelers going the opposite way, a small family of moles that are going the opposite direction towards, it seems, where you just left, as well as some feather folk seemingly using the alley that the river carves through the tall trees as a kind of roadway for flight to wherever they're going. And you have Angela said that you had about a day's travel via the river to get to the area where Chester is. During that travel, is there anything you would all like to do? Anything you would like to focus on? Anything you would like to practice or train or make?
Oh, all of the shenanigans.
All right. I think I saw Kerr raise their hand first.
No, Lavender did first. I raised mine after.
Okay. All right.
Lav would like to take out a few paints from one of her pouches and start painting chestnuts on the inside of the boat by the
Oh my
rudder.
god,
That is
yes.
so
Cute.
We love it.
Just kind of like steering and like painting and just making sure we're going the right way, but like doing these little like paintings.
Love that. Beautiful. So
During-
Lav hunkers down and starts painting chestnuts.
Love it. So cute. During one of Kerr takes a minute to like take a break or whatever and like walk around and look where everybody's at. We'll watch Lavender do the painting. Very pretty. So what's your story with the old fox?
Oh, well,
What the fuck is
I've known him since I was a child, really. Very frequently I would make journeys to her and Willow's hovel. Just, fixed a lot of us up whenever we need it. We got into plenty of scrapes. So, almost a parental-esque figure. Old friend, really.
And all this is for a friend. Not running away.
I mean, I would do a great deal for Chester and Madame Angela, but I certainly have my own stakes in this.
Huh.
After all, there's been quite a few people going missing.
Yeah, that is weird. That's really. I don't know. People run off all the time.
True. But some people don't. Some people would never.
You never know for sure. But I guess we'll see. At the very least, this will be entertaining.
And what brought you to the festivities today?
I'll be honest. It's running away from some problems and running into more.
Well, you know. Glad to see you think of us as a problem.
Kerr will actually dip a finger into one of the paints and like get her cheek. I like that color. Looks nice on you, Stripes.
Wow,
I'm
we'll
here for the
even it out on the other side.
OCD.
And dab the extra on Kerr's nose.
Yes. Duke is just relaxing in the makeshift hammock he made, and has pulled out this notebook that, because of his elevated position, it's kind of hard to see what's in it, but it looks like he's sketching while eating like some nuts and berries that he had stashed in a pouch.
Scree has kind of been like using the weight of the oar to kind of like push it up, jump, and kind of like slowly fall down. Yeah, no, exactly.
That's amazing.
And the entire trip has been singing 58 bottles of meat on the wall, 58 bottles the entire time. Take the dad and pass it around. 50. Every once in a while being like, Duke, 57 bottles of meat. Sing it with me. 57 bottles of meat.
57 bottles with meat on the wall.
And anytime you do join in, like,
And Duke
will stop jumping and
will
be like,
start with the melody with you, and then as it gets further in, like the take one down, pass it around, will hit harmonies.
oh, bougie. They go down, pass it around, 57 bottles of 56 bottles of beer the entire time. That's what Scree's up to.
We love it.
I love it. Whenever Kerr is doing like the other side of it, Kerr will shout loudly a wrong number just to be like trying to throw it off.
Scree will immediately latch on.
Yep.
77 bottles of mead, and then just start going down from whatever number you said.
It just resets.
Yeah.
You're about 4 hours of travel down the river when from you hear this loud grumble sound come from Kerr's direction. And Kerr, you look down at your stomach.
Oh.
From Duke's elevated position, you watch as his hand does that, and then you get hit in the face with a pouch of nuts.
Thanks, Frosty.
Scree lands.
Not my
Looks
name.
over at Kerr and looks at the nuts in their hand and looks back at him.
You first.
Oh, hey, thanks.
You
How'd you
do
know?
also realize there's
Seems like
berries
me.
on the ship, right?
Uh-huh.
The oar, as you reach for the nuts, the oar just
Yeah.
starts
Kerr just-
tipping out of the boat.
That's it.
Scree's not
Kerr
paying
hands
attention,
over
I'm
nuts,
sorry.
grabs the oar.
Could I actually
Oh, hey.
before you eat those, could I
You want it?
can I have them for a minute? I'll just for a minute. I'll give them back.
Okay. One hand
So
on
I will
the
take
oar.
them and like
Scree hands over
pull
the
a
three.
bowl out and like put the nuts into a bowl and like take some berries and start like slicing with the end of the dagger on the chain, slicing up some of the berries and putting them in the bowl, and pulls out some powders from bottles on her and start like sprinkling them in and do a little toss with her big old spoon and hand it back to Scree.
Yes.
The whole bowl?
The whole bowl, yes. She'll take a bite first and then hand the whole bowl to Scree.
Scree has one oar in one hand, bowl in one hand, like just like Of course. Yeah,
Mm.
I take a bite and then has the rest occur.
As you take a bite of those, of the kind of trail mix that Lav has made up, you gain. What is it? Lav. This can count as your special treat for your chef feat, if you would like.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right, so you gain.
Let's see.
You gain temporary hit points equal to Lav's proficiency bonus, which I believe is 3. So you get 3 temporary hit points from eating Lav's. And anyone who partakes in the trail mix that Lav made also gets 3 temporary hit points.
Nice. Easy.
Nice. We're ready for anything. Nothing can go wrong.
Snacks in hand, songs being sung, and the river working in your favor. You continue to leisurely drift down the river in a nice decompression ride away from the funeral and some of you escaping the problems of your life before. Sun starts to set and you made good time. The river was on your side and you can see retconning. Madame Angela gave you a map. So you can see where it was marked on the map that Madame Angela told you to go, and that you are close approaching the spot on the map to land the boat and proceed on foot. So now, question to the group. We are almost at our 2-hour mark. Before we disembark the boat, would we like to take a little break and go to the bathroom, grab drinks?
Refresh snackages.
Well,
Refresh snackages.
I need to start packing and get ready to go to my next destination soon. And so I think I have like another half hour of D&D currently in me.
Solid. Perfect. So we will play through that half hour and continue on.
If that's
Good.
okay. Any bio
No,
breaks?
I mean-
I'm like,
Do we want to do a bio break real fast?
I've got a kitty on my lap, so I can't go anywhere.
If
Trapped
people
by
need a
the
bio
cat.
break, yeah. If people need a bio break, we can take one. But if everyone's good, then we will continue on. So vote for bio break.
Yeah.
Okay, we're continuing on.
We're good. Okay.
Perfect. All right.
That was
So-
a break. So good.
That was a break. So you reach the shore, kind of drift the chestnut onto the sandy shore and beach it before getting off and venturing further in. This part of the wood is a bit thicker than where you were before. Closer to the city of Elmloa, you see there's a lot more underbrush. So which underbrush for you is quite large, with these large brambles about the height of Kerr, with these small little game trails going throughout and through. It'll be a little bit of a trek to dash through, but you will be able to do it without too much hindrance. So, pressing on, temporary hit points and a bit of and a bit of bonding done, you make your way through the woods. Hefting your belongings onto your back, you dive down the small game trails that seem to lead in the direction that your quest takes you. Your path takes you over hidden brooks that babble their way through the shadows, over fallen trees that effortlessly balance across, and through sun-laden glades with tall grass that has been matted down from whatever creature nestled there and made it its home the night before. You travel a few hours, and as the sun gets lower and lower and is just about to disappear behind the tree line, you hear a ruckus of raised voices cut through the serenity of the surrounding wood in the direction you're heading. You all kind of pause for and look towards each other. What would you like to do?
Duke is going to quickly and quietly squirrel his way up the nearest tree and will perch to just try to get an upper vantage point, but also is relying on his hearing and smell.
All right. Make a perception check for me.
What do your alpine shadows eyes see?
19.
19. Kind of scurrying up the branches and kind of tilting your head, kind of equal out the various tones. You catch the scent of iron and kind of argue a one-sided argument from a gruff voice. From the bits you can hear, but like, "Oh, you just quiet! Die, fuck you!" And then the rattle of what sounds to be some sort of metal from where you're at, but you still can't quite see where they are.
Duke will scurry back down. We'll just say, fire, and will dart towards that direction, staying hidden in the underbrush.
All right, you all see kind of dash in the direction of the ruckus noises.
Lav will
Alright,
also
well.
self through the underbrush, but first turn to Scree and do it. We're quiet here.
Got it. Screw kind of like adjusts their scarf and like, like stealth mode.
Kurt's gonna like situate the boat so it doesn't move, and then
Oh, that's smart.
that will help.
All right, so as you're all stealthing, I'm gonna need a group stealth check from you all.
Yeah, group stealth.
I'm good at this shit.
I have Lichen and Moss dice for this one.
Hold on, wait a
I
minute.
have disadvantage.
You have disadvantage? Oh no!
17.
I got this many.
17.
Oh, I guess I have advantage on that. Yeah, 17.
19.
19. Nice. Sure.
I'm trying to see if this is an 11 or a 17. Hold on.
I
The
got
7 and the 1
5.
are.
I think it's a
too
17.
Yeah.
Okay. So 17 total.
17. All right.
They're very pretty. I
Overall,
love them so
yeah.
much.
They're
Pulling the
amazing.
group, so.
You can all, just because you saw Duke dash before, you can barely keep an eye of the flash of their white tail as they acrobat their way through, kind of almost Tarzaning their way through the trees a little bit. As you kind of linger a little bit behind Scree, and there's a second where
Oh, I'm definitely with that.
his scissor blade kind of is just about to pink off a large rock for you. Reach out with your wooden spoon, just lift up the tip a little bit as you make your way, as you approach with what seems to be not too much problem. As you approach the voices, what you witness catches you off guard. Hanging from the remains of a fallen tree are two cages that sway slightly from the struggle of the two furfolk inside. That's all you can see of the prisoners, though, as lumbering in front of the cages is a towering fish fur, a fisher cat, if you know what those are, which is essentially a large, muscular, ferocious weasel. It stands about 2 heads taller than Kerr and is about twice as wide.
Oh, excellent. Large to
With
target.
with ears notched and the brown fur, and its brown fur going. Its brown fur kind of is tinged red as you get down to its snout, and it doesn't seem to notice you as it gnashes its teeth in the direction of people in the fur folk in the cages. And as it turns, you see this large cleaver that seems to be hefted on its waist. It doesn't fully turn its back towards you, but doesn't seem to quite notice you just yet. And it seems from the area it's in the large kind of open glade where the tree is directly across from you. There's open ground of about 10 feet before you get to the fisher cat, and then the cage is hanging about 5 feet behind him, up above him. And now you can hear him go, "Oh, I'm going to get a mighty fine prize for you, you lovely little creatures." And he kind of raises the cleaver with the handle, bangs against the cages a little bit. And you can hear from inside, "Oh, I just knew I shouldn't have taken this job. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I have a member of the Heather's Vigil with me. Everything will be..." And you see it cut off as the fisher cat goes, "Oh, Heather's Vigil? You think I'm scared of them? Oh, you poor little sad shit." And this kind of discourse continues on as you all linger in the shadows of the surrounding brush.
Does the brush loop around?
Yes, the brush seems to make a circle around, and then kind of it seems to cut behind the tree, the dead tree that the cages are hanging off of.
Duke will scurry through the brush around to where that tree is and start climbing up the backside of it so that he's still hidden, just so he can get closer to the hanging cages.
All right, make another stealth check for me.
Don't.
What's everyone else do?
Scree's staring at the big dude, reaching for the sword, but looking at Kerr and Lavender first, and just kind of waiting for them, just
Kerr will look at Lavender and then kind of indicate towards her and then point towards the cages, and then point to Scree and then point to himself and then point to Big Scary and Ugly.
So Lava's going to stay hidden, and so Duke is going around one way to the cages and then up the tree, and Lav's going to go the opposite direction, staying in the brush, still trying to get closer to the cages.
All right, so
24
as well. 24 for Duke. And...
All right. And then Kerr, looking at Scree, is going to pick up a rock and aim.
22.
22 for both the stealthers as you opposite circumvent
We're so insane.
the brush, kind of dashing between. You meet up on the other, two stealthers meet up on the other side and kind of look at each other as Duke, you dash up the tree. And Lav, are you going up the tree as well? Or did you want to focus on
I'm staying at the base.
Okay, so you're staying at the base.
Yeah.
From where you are, you would have to, you could probably jump and grab onto the bottom of the cages from where you are and climb up, but that's about how tall they are from you. And Duke, as you scramble up, you're acrobatic enough. It's not a problem. You scramble up, and now that you can see inside the cages, you see another squirrel folk. This one gray with a very scraggly tail and these tiny little button ears, with the same dark green and purple checkered tabard and large frill neck that the scribe at the funeral was wearing, and you recognize this as another scribe of the Yule Court. And in the second cage, you see kind of curled up in the corner of their cage this black and gray speckled canine folk, dog folk, with a lean snout and flopped over black ears that seems to be holding, who's in their half plate armor that seems to be kind of this lavendery purple, and kind of just sitting there going just looking at this scribe going, that just looks absolutely terrified. But you do recognize on their armor, you see that they have the one pauldron off on one side, and on the other side they have a half cape that is a bright blue with with the symbol of what you would recognize as the Heather's Vigil. So this seems to be the Heather's Vigil protection that the scribe was talking about earlier.
Duke will kind of, from their vantage point, duck back behind the tree and will look down at Lav and just kind of in a whisper, just to keep their voice down to a point, will say, well, one's a scribe, and the other is apparently protection, but they look scared.
What's the Fisher cat doing? Like, is he walking around, or is he?
The Fisher cat seems to be kind of pacing, kind of murmuring to himself a little bit, like, "Oh, this is gonna be real good. Oh, they're gonna be so happy. I can't wait to bring this one in." Kind of like reveling.
Okay.
Mhm.
Kerr is going to like be a bit behind like a tree or something like that, and like kind of like indicate to Scree to do something similar, and then throw a rock back where they came from, like past them.
Okay.
Making a noise.
All right.
Scree will
As
probably
you-
actually go. Hold on. So like,
Yes.
if we're this is the little area, this is the little
Mhm.
circle he's in, right? And like,
Mhm.
let's say the cages are up here, so we're
Yeah.
like down here, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah,
And Duke
So-
and Lav would be where the cages are.
like up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Kerr kind of went over here, nah,
A little more. Your left hand.
over like here
Yeah.
to throw the rock.
Yeah.
So the rock is over here, right? Landed over here.
Back where we came
So
from.
the rock is getting thrown
That
here.
way, down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Transportation.
they're hiding here, throwing here.
Scree is gonna go a little like just a little bit over here and kind of like start drawing sword.
Okay. You prepare yourself as Kuryu, and it's like, and you see the Fisher cat just kind of goes, "Who goes there? Who dare confronts Rudmouth the Fisher?"
Scree's
Kinda like
going
looks-
to step out and draw the sword. You
Oh,
are
look
taking
at-
prisoners. That is mean. You will surrender now or face the consequences.
Face the consequences.
That's right.
And who are you, you wee little rat,
I
to challenge me?
am Scree, the one day to be hero.
One day to be hero. You want to see what I do to heroes?
What?
And he reaches into this side satchel and throws out this bundle of tattered scraps. As they dash across the ground, you see that they are just ripped and torn various half capes of about 10 to 12 Heather's Vigil.
Sorry, say that one more time. It kind of paused a bit. What did you say?
Oh no, you're good. He reaches into this side pouch and tosses out this bundle of tattered fabric, and as it dashes across the ground, you see that they're just torn and muddled half capes of about 10 to 12 Heather's Vigil members.
So what do you do to heroes?
Oh, you're a funny one, aren't you? And he starts to pull out his cleaver. Lav, as he turned to look at where the noise was, with your passive perception, you notice that kind of tucked in the back belt, because he's not wearing much. He's wearing essentially a large scarf that's tattered and ragged, and then across his waist he has it's kind of like a utility belt that has a few pads of leather armor, but tucked in the back of this belt you see a strange device. Make a intelligence check for me.
Intelligence. Am I smart?
You're so smart.
You're all
You're so
smart.
smart.
Lav is a cook. They're
Big
so smart.
brain.
14.
So smart.
Okay.
So smart.
Okay,
So
so
smart.
you would recognize what this is. You haven't seen very many of them because they're not super developed yet. But it's this kind of J-shaped mechanism that looks to be a tube with a small handle that goes down at an angle, and on the very back of end of the tube, there's a small dome that is crackling with this teal blue light that's very similar to the light that you saw starting to glow from the speakers of the scribe. And you see a little trigger in the back. You would recognize this as a slinger, or a blessed slinger, which is essentially a gun that shoots electricity for the most part. You know that they're not very, from that intelligence check, you know that they are not very well developed and have a tendency to backfire, but if they work, they work.
Okay.
Stacking heat.
So, Lav has some tinkering knowledge. Lav would like to raccoon little hop up onto her back legs to reach up, stealthily, mind you, and break the gun in a way so that she knows it will backfire, and then go back into hiding.
Okay, are you kind of using your scroungecraft?
Yeah, I'm using my scroungecraft.
Okay.
As they're distracted by the very intimidating scream.
Very intimidating.
Very intimidating. Yeah, so I'm using my
That's
scroungecraft.
right, power.
Make a stealth check.
Okay.
To make sure that he does not notice you. Scree the bold. I like that.
Ooh.
21 on stealth.
21.
Why is our
Nope,
party
doesn't
so
notice.
Stealthy? That's good.
Good
Amazing.
At being little
And
critters.
then, so roll on your scroungecraft. What does it say for you to roll there?
I don't know if I have that written down, actually.
This should technically be on your character sheet.
Proficiency.
Yeah, just make a dex check with your proficiency modifier.
So you're crafty.
We'll do that for now.
All right. Like, wait, what's my proficiency modifier?
This shouldn't be like a 2 or 1.
4.
22. If I'm adding that
22.
right.
All right, you scooting up, you raccoon bounce over and just kind of like leap and take the small tube and twist it 180 degrees before jumping down and then scurrying back into the undergrowth, which at this point, Scree, you just barely catch the tail of Lab disappearing back into the undergrowth as Rudmouth pulls his cleaver out and goes, "So what's it gonna be, little rat? You gonna stab me for being a big mean man? Or are you gonna talk this out?"
Well, if you surrender, then we can talk it out. That's how this works. Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna surrender. You'd have to offer me something mighty fine for me to surrender.
How about? And like Scree tries to do a little like flourish thing. Can I roll for performance real quick?
Yeah,
God.
100%.
Okay, cool.
You don't have proficiency in that, right?
So I got an at one.
Oh
no! Go to flourish, and as you twist, the tip of the sword just gets stuck on the ground for a second, and kind of like lifts you off the ground for a second.
How about? You're kind. Yeah, your life.
You need some help there, little one.
No, I think I got it. I think. Yeah, no, I got it. We're good. We're good.
As this
Your life.
distraction and conversation is happening, I'm assuming his back is completely turned from me and the tree.
Yes.
How are these cages fastened?
They are, it seems to be two chains that, it seems to be a makeshift kind of manacle situation where one manacle is holding the top of the chain and the other manacle is holding the branch that they're hanging from. So there's a, from what you know of manacles, there's a keyhole in each individual manacle.
Okay. And how are the cages, like, closed, fastened?
There seems to be it's kind of like a trap door in the bottom situation. So it looks like, from what you can tell, it looks like the cages are big enough for Rudmouth to just kind of grab and heft onto his back. So it looked like he kind of like popped open the bottom and then scooped them in and then closed the bottom and hung them up.
He's big.
Okay, is it like
a big
a
boy.
lock?
There seems to be, it's like a latch that closes, and then it's like one of those latches that close, and then there's a little loop, and then the lock keeps the latch closed.
Got it. Duke is going to scurry to be hanging upside down on the bottom of the cage. We'll just motion for the people inside to be quiet, to not reveal that he's there. And I have no proficiency doing this, but we'll just take the dagger, porcupine quill dagger, to try to either pick the lock or break it in a way that will open it.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check. Just a straight sleight of hand check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right. You go to, do you want to go to, the closer one is the scribe. Do you want to go to the scribe or the Heather's Vigil member?
I'm going to do the Heather's Vigil first, because the Heather's Vigil is being quieter.
Okay. So, which you would know that undoing the top manacle does have a chance of the entire cage falling off the branch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you undo the thing, and the manacle pops open, and the cage down to the ground. At which point, Rudmouth turns, what the? And sees the one cage fall.
Lunge.
So will Kerr.
You lunge?
I
So
lunge.
Kerr lunge? Okay, then we got to roll initiative.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
As
Yeet,
combat
yeet.
is starting.
All
And then
right.
are we going to start
And Lab
combat
is still
and then
staying
leave that
hidden
for
at
next
this
time?
point.
Are we going to start combat and then leave it
I
for next
do-
time?
I do.
It
believe-
depends
Actually,
on-
that's probably a good idea. Actually,
Yeah.
so that we don't run into too
Mhm.
close of time for anyone. So as the cage and Scree lunges forward and Kerr dashes out of the side brush towards the creature,
Out
and
of
Duke
shadows.
looks towards Rudmouth, now being realized. That is where we will end tonight's session, or today's session, this morning session, whatever time zone you're at, this time zone session. And pick up next week with our lovely band of critters trying to rescue a Heather's Vigil and a scribe of the Yule Court from Rudmouth the Fisher.
I'm not saying that we're like the best team, but we're kind of the best
But we're
team.
kind of the best team.
the
Okay,
best
our
baddies
goals today,
in Briarwood.
guys.
That's all.
It's so great.
We're on point.
Killing it.
That was a
And
scribe
then-
of what?
Love it.
A scribe of the Yule Court. So the government of the Silvermore Forest, that owl court. Clever in the
Imagine
clever in
being
the
a
clover.
queen.
You guys can't just be
Clever in
tossing
the
out
Clover?
episode titles like this, okay?
That's next week's episode title. Clever in the Clover.
There we go.
I mean, this was good stuff.
I'm writing it down. It's happening.
Absolutely.
Join us next week for Clever in the
In the
Clover.
Clover.
Well,
Of
this was
Lichen
Hay
and
Down
Moss,
in the
of
Heather,
Brass
right?
and Fire, Clever and Clover.
We got a theme. We got to stick with it.
You guys stick with
We
it.
have a brand now. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Guys, you did so good.
Yeah.
Also, Zatar,
did
your
other
descriptions are
Are
gorgeous.
immaculate. What?
So cool.
Thank you.
It's so pretty.
Pretty great, huh?
I love how we had a nat 1 with Scree and then a natural 20, or I don't know if it was nat 20 with Duke, but it was like one right after the other.
Dirty
That was
20.
a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Like Hottie was gorgeous, and I just wanted to make sure we commented on that. So I love
Oh,
it.
It
Amazing.
was so good.
So cool. I'm
Best
so
team.
excited
I love it.
that everyone's together finally.
All right. So our next
All
episode
right.
is the 21st.
Me something? Calendar.
On
The
next
next episode will be
episode
the
of
17th.
yes. Sunday the
Next
17th.
time.
17th.
Lichen
I don't know how days work in months.
Same time. It's really wobbly.
It's a weird mossy soup.
It's a moss.
The
weird mossy
17th.
soup.
That's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Clover
So
and
that's
Be
daisy.
prepared
And
for what we're
and
gonna
it's
look like.
Clever and
guys.
Clover. Oh, come on.
Oh my god, guys.
Oh my god.
We just
Everything we've done has been on purpose.
Everything.
It
It's
It was entirely
scripted.
intentional.
entirely.
Yeah.
Everything is scripted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome.
All right, we will see you guys on the 17th.
Love
Thank
all
you all
so
for
much.
joining.
Thank you so much for
Have a great
watching. Love you all.